Miller, lovely cushioned header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Yes, guys, welcome back to another video for Liverpool table topping mighty Reds. OB, Southampton 2, Liverpool 3. We made hard work of it, no doubt about it, which we're going to get into, but it couldn't have gone better. Man City absolutely tucked in by Spurs on Saturday night, 4-0. Has Pep lost the dressing room? Who knows? All I know is that everything is going our way, and we are topping the table after 12 games, 8 points clear. How do you like that, OB?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's beyond our wildest dreams. We said on our last poddy that we weren't sure at the start of the season. We didn't expect it to be like this. It's like all the stars have aligned, because we're not playing our absolute best every game, but we're just doing enough to make sure we win. I thought we dominated the game today, but the other teams around us are really inconsistent. City have on a bad run, and we all know that isn't going to continue. At some point, they're going to kick back. So the more points we've got in the bag, more points we've got on them, will make it easier for us when we push on and we go through some more difficult times, Scott. So really, really happy. Just toning it down a little bit because it is still early days. Don't want to say it's over because it's
don't tone it down. Let's build it up. Let's build it right up. I mean, no one saw. I mean, let's just talk about Man City quickly. Nobody saw this coming, did they? They've lost 5 in a row now, and even the most risky of gamblers or Super Six pickers wouldn't have picked Spursy to win away at the Etihad. But what a game! What a result!
They've got a thing over City, haven't they? And yeah, when they went into that game, it was like completely different approach to how they played at home against Ipswich. And just saying them words out loud just doesn't make any sense. But I think City look lost. I think some of the players look a little bit leggy as well. I think they've replaced some of the players over the last couple of years. And I'm starting to doubt the longevity of these players that they've brought in, because they're not really creative or as creative. John Stones was terrible.
Rico Lewis, I mean, I know he's young in that, but you're watching him. If he's the Rodri replacement.
Apparently so.
Number 20's coming to Anfield. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
If that's the long-term plan for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. It's just bizarre, isn't it? And we, like you say, we know this isn't going to last. So it gives us an opportunity to kick on with some extra points. And then just see how the land lies around sort of January, February time. It makes next week massive. They are going to come out and really go after us. They are going to be intense, Scott. They're not going to go for a whole week of taking this blowback. Even if they get a result in the Champions League during the week, they're going to come after us with everything they've got. We are going to have to play much better than we played today to get a result in that game. I really believe that. But we've got players who can score goals, big moments. We've got one in particular that he's just, I mean, we've talked about him for 7, 8 years now.
Talk about him some more, OB. Take it away. The stage is yours.
I mean, even like, he got a bit of luck, didn't he, with the first. I mean, I don't really know what the keeper was doing, but he just judged it so well. But he just turned the game on its head by just upping the tempo. And
that last half an hour,
and playable for 15 minutes. That's all he had to do.
Yeah, they couldn't deal with him. I was thinking of that interview you done 3 or 4 weeks ago. What's your aims for this season? I can't remember who it was interviewing. He said everything, win everything. A club like this, Liverpool, should be at the top of the league, should be winning everything. And I just thought from that 60-minute onwards, he started running the show. And I thought that's him taking the game by the scruff of the neck, thinking we've got to get this over the line. We've got to capitalise on City dropping points again yesterday. And he was just superb. Him, and a special mention for Ryan Gravenberch. I thought he was the best player on the park. The way he receives the ball in tight areas, never looks flustered, always finds the right pass. That new Gravenberch turn that he does, where he pretends he's going to get the ball, but then feints and runs away from the defender.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that more pundits are not raving about him.
Well, I've heard a couple. I think I heard, was it Shearer or Mika Richards or someone talking about him, talking about his first touch. His first touch is absolutely ridiculous. So he puts the ball into a space where he knows he's got options of what to do. And even in what were blustery conditions today, that technical ability just shines through. And you see the difference where players are quite loose. And I know SZOBOSZLAI had a better game today. Jones looked a little bit off it. But the difference between them two and the way Gravenberch was just controlling the game and the way his first touch is, it's just absolutely ridiculous. He literally touches it to play his second touch really, really easily every time, Scott. And it's a joy to watch. And the amount of distance he covered, to your point, the amount of times he was in the right areas to break up play, it was huge. It was absolutely huge. And it made a massive difference to the game, particularly the points in transition where we looked like we were struggling a little bit. He broke up a lot of attacks. I didn't think our defence had the best day today. I mean, Van Dijk was to blame for the first goal, quite clearly. I don't know what he was doing. I thought Konate was he was like he was a different person.
He was playing, what's that sport you've mentioned before? Kabaddi or something like that?
Yeah.
What's that sport? Is it Kabaddi?
Yeah.
It was like Konate was playing that, or one of the lads in the group chat said he was playing rugby. He was absolutely abysmal in that first half. And I wouldn't have forgave him for getting hooked at half-time, just like Kwanzaa did against Ipswich in the first game of the season. We're all saying Arne Slot needs to fix this, and he didn't. He stuck by him. Fair enough. Got the game over the line. But yeah, Konate, Robertson, just not at it today. We're starting to really worry about Robertson. Yeah. And as industrious as Connor Bradley was, I thought we missed Trent at certain moments in the game today. I felt a little bit sorry for Kelleher today. He didn't do much wrong and he ended up conceding 2 goals. Great penalty save. Unfortunately, it rebounded just at the striker's feet again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd also say as well that the confidence from the team is really, really important. So I think that got us over the line a little bit today as well, because there was always that belief even when we were down. Kelleher does exude a lot of confidence, even when the team are up against it. You're not thinking to yourself, look, there's a goal in there because the keeper's going to make a mistake. Just don't see it. Don't see it at all. So I thought they improved as the game went on as a back four. I really did. But even then, right after the goal, Robbo was a little bit ropey again. But we got over the line. I mean, he needs to find out what's going on with Andy Robertson, because positionally, he looks off more than anything else. So it's not so much...
And when he gets the ball as well, Obi, it's his distribution. It's like he can't clear it past the first man anymore.
Yeah, he's not.
I mean, today 3 or 4 times, he was like just side footing it straight to a defender's head or a defender's feet.
Yeah,
it's pulling my hair out.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because you wonder if he's been given slightly different instructions and he's struggling to complete them, and it's confusing his game, because the guy's technical know-how is high, and I don't know whether this is one of the players that we talked about in the last podcast that potentially has took a dip under Slot, and that needs to be looked at. You know what I mean? And I don't know what that is. Only the manager and the player will probably have more of an understanding of how much it is that we're asking him to do something slightly different. I don't see it on the pitch. I just think he's probably jumbled in his thinking, and he's trying to impress himself a little bit too much onto teams, when I don't think Slot's so into his fullbacks being quite as high up the park as they are. Whereas Robertson still seems to be playing that, and it may be causing a little bit of exposure.
Definitely. If we were talking on the last podcast about obviously Klopp's heavy metal football, and Arne Slot has got a more controlled approach, that was like a Klopp game again today. End to end, getting stuffed on the counter attack, poor goals to concede. Robertson, well, was it already Van Dijk's mistake that Robertson conceded the penalty? Was it even a penalty? It looked slightly outside the box to me.
I think it was difficult. It was so tight that I think once the referee's made a decision, there's no clear and obvious, because I've seen different replays of it, and it depends when you stop and you go, that's the point of the foul. So I think, for me, hand on heart, I think the penalty is probably the right decision, because once the referees give it, you're not going to overturn it. And I think if the referee to give a free kick, I don't think that had been overturned either. So I think it probably followed through correctly. But yeah, Van Dijk ran out with it and lost it and just exposed. But then Robertson was in the wrong position, and you know what I mean. It was a bit of a catalogue of errors, really.
And the player played for it as well, didn't he? He played for the penalty. He thought Robertson's going to cross me. I'm just going to tap it past him.
Yeah, he did, and it was the right thing to do for him, wasn't it? Ultimately, he did the right thing, so can't argue with that. No arguments around. I thought Southampton were probably better than I expected them to be. Yeah. That big lad caused us a lot of problems early on.
Yeah, Onu Hokcha or something like that. See his footwork in that first half.
I know, absolutely brilliant to watch.
It's really good, wasn't it?
It did make me laugh, and his no-look pass at the end was brilliant.
Yeah. But look, Southampton, obviously, they only got beat by Man City 1-0. I mean, there's no easy games in the Premier League. I know we say it all the time, but there really isn't. You've got like teams like Wolves picking up points now, scoring goals for fun. Obviously, Ipswich down there got a draw today against Man United. Southampton are fighting for every point they can get. There really is. There's no easy games. On paper, it looked easy, top against bottom. But especially when you go away and the crowd are up for it on a televised game, the crowd were right up for it today. I'm just happy to get out there with the 3 points, really. But Southampton's second goal, I mean, taking nothing away from them. They went through as like a hot knife through butter, didn't they? We were at 6s and 7s all over the shop.
They did, but you can tell that Russell Martin's setting them up to play that way. And he gets absolutely bastard for playing out from the back. He does. And he probably gets them to do it a little bit too much, but you can see what he's trying to do. And if he had players who keep doing it, eventually the mistakes are going to cut out. I imagine that's what he's saying to the team, to keep playing the same way, and you'll learn from your mistakes as long as you're learning from them. It was a bit of a mess, the first one. I don't know what the hell was going on there. But we're going to take it, aren't we? Dominic SZOBOSZLAI, great finish. He probably
with his left peg as well.
Yeah, didn't need to place it as close to the corner as he did, but you know it went in anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, it was quality. What was wrong with Adam Lallana today? Like, what is his problem? He's a former Red. He was throwing himself all over the pitch, and that was a red card on Gravenberch.
Yeah,
why did VAR out of it?
He went in on his ankle, didn't he?
Yeah, the follow through. It's a red. It was dangerous. It was reckless. Yeah. And he's an ex-Red. When I seen him in the ref's face and then turned at Van Dijk, shouting at Van Dijk, I'm thinking, what are you doing, mate? That's like Luis Suarez moves, coming back to Anfield and showing himself to be a bit of a tosser.
Yeah. Well, when he went down injured, they all come over and were speaking to him. And Van Dijk went over and said something to him and then sort of hit him over the back of the head in like a jokey way. So I think it was a little bit of they're probably winding each other up. They're probably on a group chat or something, winding each other beforehand. He's coming a little bit over the top. But what is he, 36 years old now or something?
Yeah, something like that.
He's at the back end of his career. He's just trying to have little fits and starts here and there. So he's probably a bit of a last hurrah. He was probably overhyped for the game. So he's got good friends in the opposition team, and then he went too far, didn't he? And he ended up injured. He ended up getting hauled off anyway. So yeah.
Fair play. Unlucky Adam. But Salah, this penalty, we've been quite scathing of him on penalty duty for the last, 12, 24 months. There's something about him this season where I'm not worried. What's changed? It just looks like he's so focused. Like, remember that penalty he missed against Arsenal where he screwed it past the post, and then one against Bournemouth as well. Yeah. There's none of that. As soon as we get a penalty now, I want Salah on it. I know it's going in the net. He's just supremely confident.
He is, and he's confident in his general play. So even when things aren't going right, you can see that he's going back and doing the same thing again. He is being double marked again as well. I've noticed that this season, that teams are particularly worried about him. He's clever enough as well to get rid of the ball quite quickly and get a switch on and get the ball out, recycle it and get a switch on, and then frees up Diaz, Gakpo, even Nunez to an extent. And obviously Jota earlier in the season to run onto it and then do something with it, you know. So it is benefiting the team again. But he's just so good in them little spurts in the game. He just becomes unplayable. And he's going to have one next week. And it's about whether he scores one or two. You know, that's literally what's going to happen. He's going to score, isn't he? And Guardiola will be worried about him beyond every other player. And he really will, and he'll be thinking about it all week. And Salah's in his mind rent-free. He's in every team's mind. You can see that they're concerned about what he could do, how much trouble he causes, how good he is with his assists. The cross across the box where Diaz didn't get to it. You know what I mean? All of them movements, just a general play in attacking. And we're just so good in these attacking positions. And Salah is just a massive part of all of that. He really is.
No, massive. As Carragher kept saying, give him his dough. You know, it's everything's been said. We just need some news now that he's signing or he's not signing. We can all start to adjust and get over it and prepare ourselves for him leaving the club. But we just have to be praying that he's signing a new contract.
Absolutely.
Nunez, Obi, can he play his way back into our affections? I mean, he toiled today. He's brain dead. When you see there was a passage of play in their box, and I was thinking, just peel off so Salah can give you it. And he ran towards Salah, broke down, went in. It's just one of them pull your hair out moments that he's never going to get it. But saying that, we're top of the league. He is pulling defenders about with his pace and his unpredictability. I mean, when you think about it, we're not doing too bad, are we, OB? We're top of the league and everyone complains about their injuries and stuff like that. We've pretty much just played half a dozen games without our world-class keeper and without our centre forward in Diogo Jota. So we've got people like Nunez filling in. Diaz has played up top. Gakpo's playing well on the left. Like, we're not doing too bad.
Yeah. And I think because we're missing Trent as well, so we're missing 3 key players last couple of games. We're doing all right. And with regards to Nunez, I'm not a fan. I think I posted something that was a bit tongue-in-cheek about sell him at halftime. You know what I mean? Not even sub him, just sell him. I struggle with him. I don't know how he was hooked. He wasn't hooked before Gakpo because I thought Gakpo was having a really good game. He's really dynamic. I like Diaz when he went through the middle against Leverkusen. Yeah. I think that's something I'd like to see again. And I think it's a better option because I think we cause more of a threat. I'm hoping he does that next week and goes with Diaz through the middle, gets Gakpo on the pitch, and then obviously Salah, play that front 3. I've got a question for you though. Who would you play in midfield against Man City?
There's a question.
it is. So
McAllister's got to play.
Yeah.
McAllister's got to play. I'm a huge McAllister fan. This is tailor-made for him, especially the Man City game last season where he should have got a penalty in the injury time, didn't get it. Another VAR cock-up. Gravenberch is obviously playing. And then it's obviously a toss between Jones and SZOBOSZLAI. Elliott's too close. Was Elliott even on the bench today?
I don't think so, no.
Endo's not getting a game. His race is probably running a Liverpool shirt. So, yeah, it's that SZOBOSZLAI and Jones. I'm developing a bit of a soft spot for Jones, I've got to admit. I was looking at him today thinking if we're going to win this, I don't know why in my head I was thinking it'll either be a bit of magic from Luis Diaz or a little bit of magic from Curtis Jones. Neither of them done it in the end. We had Salah to thank for that. But I don't know. He's not even leaving SZOBOSZLAI out, really, is he? I think in Slot's mind, it's either McAllister or Jones.
Yeah, and I think he'll play Grav. I think he'll play McAllister. I do. I think he'll play Jones and put SZOBOSZLAI on the bench. And the reason I think that is I think Jones is more insightful, but I do think that we'll see SZOBOSZLAI come on the pitch quite early in the game. I think Jones creates, and because we're at home, I think if we're away, I think he'd go with SZOBOSZLAI. I really do. I think he left both of the South Americans out today, McAllister and Diaz, because of the travel back. And he played Nunez because Nunez, I think he said Nunez only played 45 minutes for Uruguay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got a feeling that he'll play Jones against City, like the same way he played Jones against Chelsea. Remember, he brought him in the team and he was absolutely brilliant. But I think a lot will depend. We've got Madrid during the week, haven't we? So
yeah,
a lot will depend on who he picks for that game, and he might mix up a little bit. But it could be interesting. I think Tsimikas might end up back in with the team for one of the games if not both. So that could be interesting as well. I'm hoping Trent's back, and I think that's the reason why he was left out today. We need him back in the team for both games. Yeah. How close is Alisson? Do we know?
The back in full training, he said in his press conference on Friday, it was just too soon for Trent and Alisson. Who was the third? Diogo Jota.
Yeah.
No, he said it was too soon for Jota and Alisson. Trent had a chance, but then he didn't make today. So all three of them, it sounds like all three of them are close. And yeah, for sure, we're definitely going to need them. And that's so much will be on this team lineup for Man City. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope he goes Diaz through the middle and Gakpo on the left. That was a bit of an odd substitution today. Like Jamie Carragher even alluded to it. We were all saying it in the Liverpool group chat. He's got to hook Núñez and have Diaz in the middle, leave Gakpo on, he was having a decent game. I thought Gakpo and Gravenberch were having a decent game, and I'll get onto that in a minute. But I mean, do you think it's as simplistic as he had his substitutions in his head before the game started? With these South Americans come on, not starting them, giving them half an hour, and then it didn't make any sense. What was Slot seeing to leave Núñez on and take Gakpo off? It was so odd.
I'm wondering as well, because Núñez played, he stayed on till, was it 82, 83 minutes when he brought Endo on. I'm wondering if he give him more of a game, because he's not going to involve him during the week. And then it'll be a case of seeing who's available for the City game, and that's the way he's maybe playing it. Because I think it's important to keep people fresh for that Real Madrid game. Although it's probably, if we lost it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I think for momentum purposes, I think it's important. And then,
I'd throw that game away, OB. I don't, we're top of the league. I know we want to win every game, but all focus on City now.
Yeah, realistically, we're not going to win both competitions, are we?
No.
So do we take the opportunity to go all in on the league and just see how we go in the Champions League? We're maybe making a few
100%.
Like Bradley, Tsimikas, I don't know, maybe even Robertson over Tsimikas into the Champions League games and start getting Tsimikas in the team.
Or Joe Gomez. What must Joe Gomez be thinking at the minute? He come on half-time against Brighton.
Yeah.
I think he had the man of the match just in that second half. I can't remember who got it. Obviously, Salah got all the plaudits with that finish to make it 2-1. But Joe Gomez, they had a video footage of all the players arriving at the top of the show on Sky Sports today, and every player looked happy except Joe Gomez walked past with his face tripping him. And I did think, wow, why is he not getting a sniff anywhere? I mean, if anything, he should be getting a sniff at left back now. Tsimikas has done well. Robertson's in trouble. Joe Gomez, we've all said he's a better fullback than he is centre back. Right back, Connor Bradley's there, or even at right back. Why is he not getting a sniff at right back ahead of Connor Bradley? I'd love to know what's going through Joe Gomez's head, because he had a terrific season last season, and under Arne Slot, he's just not getting a sniff.
No, and it might be just he's in training at the same level as the other boys. It might be something like that. We've always said that Slot's very much a head coach as opposed to a manager. He's not managing a situation. He's just basically going off the ability and what he sees in training. And if Gomez isn't naturally, comes across quite a laid-back character, if he isn't showing the intensity in training, that might be why he's slipping down the pecking order. Whereas some of the other lads seem to be coming to the forefront just because of their sheer desire. We all know that Tsimikas has got an amazing desire for everything, and he seems to be putting pressure on Robertson. And maybe that's what Slot's looking more than anything else. He has alluded to it a few times where he wants people to win individual battles. He wants people to be first to the second ball, etc. And he's talked about that a lot. So maybe that's what he's not seeing in Gomez, and he's seeing a laid-back guy who just isn't putting enough in on the training pitch.
Definitely. I was thinking watching the game today, if there's been three real good performers this season, Obi, it's Van Dijk, who's back to people calling him the best defender in the world. Ryan Gravenberch has been a revelation in the number 6 CDM. Everyone's saying, where's this player come from? He's had half a dozen man of the match trophies in 15, 16, 17 games in. And then Gakpo has really played himself into form. I said on the last podcast, he's kind of a fixture on that left-hand side, to the point where we need to be finding a place for Luis Diaz. We've both alluded to that, could be striker. And then I was thinking, them three players that are playing out of their skin, they're all Dutch, playing well under a new Dutch manager. Do you think that's had a positive influence?
I think it has, and from what I understand, they don't all know Slot that well. I don't think any of them are particularly close to him, but it's probably an understanding piece and a clear communication piece. And if he's communicating to them in the language, their first language, it might be helping. I love that Gakpo can go past players either side, and he mixes it up so well that defenders look like they hate being up against him because he
looks a lot more pacey this season. Have you thought that? He looks a lot pacier than he has in his first 18 months with the club.
He really does. He really, really does. And it's interesting because the players I always thought were the quickest players around don't look as quick this year, with the exception of, I mean, there is a few that still look like they've got lots of pace, but Robertson seems to have lost a bit, but Gakpo seems to have gained a bit. SZOBOSZLAI doesn't look like he's the quickest player on the pitch anymore. So I don't know whether it's just generally a lot of the team are quicker than they were, or whether a couple of lads have lost a little bit of yardage. Talking of pace, Scott, and moving away from Liverpool just for a second, did you see Kyle Walker?
Yeah. Timo Werner just left him for dead, didn't he?
He did, and he used that. He did that thing that he always does, where he stands off and goes, "You can't beat me for pace," and he went past him like he was nothing.
Yeah,
and that. I was expecting an announcement, like a Gary Neville after the game against West Brom announcement to go, "I'm done." I really was.
I think he might be done. That's him. He got rinsed for pace by Adama Traore as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So now he must be 34 now, or he will be 34 soon. But maybe he's one of them that have aged overnight.
Yeah, but if he's playing next week, we need him put under pressure, a lot of pressure, and that's kind of a pull out from it. I'm sure Slot will analyse it and look at players he needs to focus on. He needs to be having a go at people like Nathan Ake, Kyle Walker. John Stones on his day doesn't look right, and in other days he looks like he's got it. But Lewis, as you said earlier, we need to be
really... Phil Foden. I mean, Phil Foden is obviously a fantastic player and world class, but I don't think I've heard his name this whole season.
No,
and I've been checking he's playing.
He doesn't look very strong in possession, so he gets barged off the ball quite a lot. And I don't know what that is. I don't know whether there's an injury or something, or a back injury that's maybe making it a bit more tentative. But he just doesn't seem to be as physical as he was. Whereas before he had a low centre of gravity. You watch people like, and I don't like the guy, but Bernardo Silva, you can't really push him off the ball. And he's a similar build to him. You go into Phil Foden, he goes flying, and it's just like, that wasn't the way he was last year.
Yeah. What do you think is the reasoning behind Pep signing this extra year on his contract? That was a subliminal message. That was the timing. They're trying to say something there, whether it's to do with this court case, they think they're going to win it, or because they're losing games. Maybe there's a bit of fraction in the dressing room, so they're saying Pep's in charge. If you've fallen out with Pep, you'll be leaving the club, not Pep. It felt like it was something they try to send a message through the timing of it, and it obviously hasn't worked.
I'm wondering if Pep's had a conversation with the players to go, what's going on, what's up? And they've gone, well, the uncertainty of you going, and he's gone there and then, right, okay, I'll go upstairs and ask for another 1-year deal.
Maybe.
And then the club went, yeah, okay, but we'll have that every day of the week. And it's literally been something like that. Whether he's had or he's got together as a group, or got together with some of the senior players, and they've fed back that there's uncertainty around his situation that's then causing uncertainty in the team, and the players feel a little bit concerned about it, etc. And he's going, well, I don't want you to think about it. I'll just sign another 1 year. That's what I think has happened.
That does sound plausible. But as we all know, it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at Jurgen Klopp. He signed a new deal, and then he left. He announced he was leaving a year later, still with 2 years left on his deal. If Pep wants to go, he'll be going. But I can imagine it would give a bit more stability in the dressing room to announce that he's here kind of for the longer term rather than just the last 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting one though, because at some point they will turn the corner, and it's just about where we are with regards to them at that point. The difficulty will be as well that people will be photoshopping that league table now, and if we don't get it over the line, it'll be they blew it from this position. But it's about next week now, and going in and making sure we absolutely nail it.
Let's take a look at that league table, OB, because it looks absolutely stunning. Look at that. I mean, we mentioned it on the last podcast, shades of 1920. The season, obviously, when we won the league, that does look comparable. Played 12, won 10, drew 1. Back then, after 12, we'd won 11 and only drew 1. That one was against Man United at Old Trafford. But it's also got shades of, like I said, of the Leicester season, where Leicester were lucky that so many other clubs had kind of a drop-off and had a below par season. And it just feels like that now. Man City are obviously struggling a bit. Chelsea are up there, which is good for them. Arsenal. But we're the favourites to win the league now. And unbelievably, Arsenal are second favourites.
Mad. I think we're actually odds on now.
Are we odds on now after today?
Yeah. So it's got even worse than that. And it's still too early. We've still got to play City twice. That's 6 points. We've just got to be very, very careful.
6 points to us.
Yeah, well, hopefully, all being well. We've still got to go to Stamford Bridge.
You got to flip it, OB. City have still got to play us twice.
But you do know that they are going to come at us with everything next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolute blood and thunder game. I think that'll be one of them games that isn't going to disappoint in any way, shape or form. And it won't be about, they can't settle for a draw there either. So they haven't got that ability to go, a draw's a good result. They will be wanting to tell us a new one. And they'll be absolutely chomping at the bit to do it. We've just got to make that our advantage, take that to our advantage and make sure we deliver. And our team turn up probably in better form than they did today, because there was a lot of...
Definitely. We've got to be better than today. 100%. Yeah. Goes without saying.
We've got to be better in possession and obviously better in transition as well, because they do not miss chances like Southampton missed today. Southampton had a few really good situations, a few good chances, and you know on the right day Haaland could bang 4 in if he gets 4 chances, and it's like you cannot allow him to have that. You really can't.
The stakes couldn't be higher than OB. Just to finish off, Anfield, Man City next Sunday, beat them. Will be 11 points clear of Man City. 11 points after 13 games. I mean, that is just dreamland, isn't it? And let's be real, you finish above Man City, you're winning the league. They're not finishing third, are they?
Well, I don't think so. And I think the bookies have got it wrong, because I still think City will come back at us. Because if we draw or lose, they'll be all over us. And that run that they have at the end of every single season, just because of how deep their squad is, and that's what's going to happen, because there's no drop-off in their squad. So if they have a few players come in, we've talked about obviously Bradley coming in for Trent, and it's a little bit of a drop-off, etc. And that's nothing against Bradley, it's just naturally is. Or if we've got Nunez in for Jota, it's a bit of a drop-off. They don't have drop-offs. The only thing I would say is they don't seem to have an obvious replacement for Haaland, but they won the league a couple of years ago, not having a main striker the season before Haaland came. So we need to be absolutely on our game next Sunday, get it over the line, get the result, and then we can go into hopefully match them, keep matching them, and put pressure on them, scoreboard pressure, and make sure we're keeping ourselves ahead in the league, because this could be very, very special this season. It really could.
I know Arne Slot has experienced the Anfield crowd. What was the crowd where there was a bit of talk before the game that the crowd haven't really been up for it, and then Arne Slot said we need the crowd to be bang at it? It was 2 or 3 games ago. But anyway, he's going to experience it. Was it Brighton? Yeah, of course it was, yeah. He's going to experience that on Sunday. The ground is going to be like on fire, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been to one of them Liverpool Man City games before, as you know, Scott, and it's just, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. It just does not let go. It's intense. The teams have got a real rivalry. They know each other, player for player. They know what to expect. City are always up for it. Liverpool are always up for it, and I think we'll see a real battle next week. And I just hope we fall out on the right side of it. I really do.
Let's go. Me too. Obi, it's been a pleasure as always. Thanks to anyone that's been tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will see you on the next one. Obi, the tabletop in Reds. Enjoy
We're going to
enjoy Monday. Enjoy Monday, yeah. We're going to win the league. The Reds have got no money. We're going to win the league. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Miller, lovely cushion header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! What a head, son!